Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name's Tanya. If you're new to the channel, fabulous. I'm glad you found us. And if it was another recipe that led you over, that's even better because you probably realize at this point there's a pretty good variety of things in there. So I have to be somewhere in about 20 minutes. So this is going to be quick. This is just the first part of it. I'll finish it off today by letting you see the final product and show you what we're going to do with it. But this is kind of a Tex-Mex filling, a chicken filling to anything from tacos to burritos to serving it over rice, which is really, really good. But you can also serve this over shredded cabbage. And I know that sounds kind of funky, but it really is good. I'll show you what to do with the cabbage later on. You just put a few things on it to season it up, and it's not cooked, it's raw. But when a family member of mine was on a grain-free diet, there were so many things they could not eat. But we ate so much of this, and it was quite fabulous. Surprisingly enough, I'm not a huge fan of raw cabbage, but it was really good on this. Okay, I'm using my teeny tiny little slow cooker right here, and I mark on the back that it holds 6 cups. So we're going to put it all in here. This is the first thing we're going to use is a package of just organic chicken, and I'm going to cut that open. This has been in the freezer and I let it thaw in the refrigerator. I try not to get any more of my hands in contact with this than I have to. First thing we're going to do is just take this chicken. Now, whether you buy chicken thighs, chicken breasts, whatever you do, just make sure it's the boneless chicken. Once this is all done, it's pretty much just going to fall apart. We're going to stir it up and it's going to turn into shreds, you know, the kind that's really good to put in tacos and stuff like that. This is perfect to work with. So this is what it looks like. I just got it nestled down in there. Literally, we're going to start dumping our ingredients on the top. The first thing I have is ground cumin, and I just say, if you like it a lot, put a lot in there. If you like it a little bit, just put a little bit in there. I'm going to average out to about a teaspoon of cumin. We like for this to be well seasoned. It's not spicy. I am going to add a piece of a jalapeno, though, just forewarning there. You don't have to, but I love me some jalapeno. We're going to put close to a teaspoon of dried oregano in there. I need some garlic, and I would like to use fresh garlic on this. And I have a bottle of minced garlic. I keep it upside down in the fridge because sometimes it's a little hard to squeeze out. I'd say probably close to a teaspoon of garlic. We really like garlic too. Next ingredient, we're going to put some salt in there. And put close to a teaspoon, not quite a teaspoon. You can always add more, but you can't add less. Salt's one of those things you can add at the last minute, and it really doesn't matter. Some of the things like cumin, it's not going to, you know, do as well if you add it at the last minute. It's better to just cook in those ingredients. But salt is soluble. It's going to dissolve in the liquid in there, so it'll be fine. The next thing we're going to put in is some fresh cilantro, and I've already washed this. And little hint, if you've never heard me say this before, if you're new to our channel, because I say it a lot, the flavor of cilantro is not in the leaves. Those are pretty, and those have a little bit of flavor, but most of your flavor is in the stems themselves. So make sure you do not throw the stems away. I've seen people take them and throw them in the trash, and I just want to go, that went your flavor right there. But if you ever start chopping up the stems and putting them in stuff and using them, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, I am a huge fan of cilantro. Some people have that, I don't want to call it a problem. It's not a problem. It's just when they taste cilantro, they say it tastes like soap. I understand that issue because that's the problem when I taste some things like avocado doesn't taste like anything to me. My husband just goes on and on about, I love avocados. All I have to do is mention avocado in a public place, and it's like I have my automatic fan club. But I'm one of those people who I really can't take. It tastes wet, that's about it. It doesn't taste like anything. But I do love cilantro. So if you love cilantro, add a lot of it. If you don't like cilantro, you're welcome to leave it out or just put a little bit in there. It does add a lot of flavor to it. Next thing I'm going to do is chop up a little bit of an onion, and I'm going to do this in slivers. I'll put the rest of it. I keep it in a little one of those fold top sandwich bags in my fridge. I'm going to do slivers, so I'll go around it like this. I'm hoping you can see me cut this. And the top layer that's not quite as tender as the other layers, I'll peel it back now and continue to slice around. And again, the onion's going to be cooked down really well. It's going to be super soft. We're going to cook this several hours today. And like I said, when you stir it at the end, it's just going to turn into shreds. It's going to look like a bunch of strings in a pan, basically. But that's the way we want it to be. Put our onion in here. And I had some, it's organic tomatoes, diced tomatoes and green chilies. Basically it's Rotel, but in organic form. I had about a half a can left over, so I'm just going to dump that right on the top. A good use of that. If you have just tomato, put that in there. And I'm going to attempt to cut a piece of this jalapeno off. I don't want to get too many of the seeds on there. I'm gonna regret touching that, I can pretty much promise you. Slice it up just a little bit. When this stuff gets airborne, it causes me to cough so bad, so if I turn the camera off real quick, I've just run outside to start coughing. A little bit of jalapeno, just that much. If you like more, put more in there. If I could tolerate cutting it up without choking, I'd probably do it right now. But for now, that's going to do. All right, that's our ingredients right there. It's actually kind of pretty like that. So we're going to cook this down. Don't put any liquid in that. The chicken is going to make its own liquid, as will some of the other vegetables. I'm just going to plug this in right here. I have plug mold all on the side of my island on both sides. I will never be in a shortage of plugs. And we're going to turn this on low. I'm going to get my mess cleaned up. I'll be back in a few hours. And let's see, it's about almost 8:30 right now. We will cook this for at least 6 hours. So around 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'll open this up. We'll stir it, see if it's shredded. And ideally, I think I'll turn it on high once I get my stuff done. Hopefully, I'll remember to turn it down right before I leave. So we'll be back and we'll show you what this looks like, and then I'll tell you about all the options about what to do with it and go into a description about what to do to the cabbage to make a grain-free taco salad. So we'll be back. Okay, so we want to make up our kind of a salad mixture. We'll call it a salad base. Instead of rice, you could use rice, you could use a tortilla, anything for this chicken mixture. But what I want to show you is a grain-free option that is specific carbohydrate diet legal. This is a recipe for that. So not to necessarily highlight that, but if you have someone who needs to be grain-free, sugar-free, all this stuff, this is going to fit the bill for that. And it is actually very, very good. I'm not a huge fan of just raw cabbage, but this is cabbage, green onions, cilantro, lime zest, and lime juice tossed together, and it's really quite good. But to put the chicken on top of it, it just sends it over the top. It's just really, really nice. So I have here just kind of a head of cabbage that I've used part of it, stuck it back in the fridge in a bag, and I'm going to slice this as thinly as I can. And we have just some green onions in there. And I really don't have a measurement for this. I think I made this recipe up. I could be wrong about that, so don't hold me to that. If you know of somebody that says, that's my recipe, okay, yeah, just go with it. Let them say that. I have a little bit of green onions. This is just the green tops to them. And, of course, this is what I do with the rest of them. Actually, here's the bottoms to the green onions that I did earlier. I'll poke those in some soil, and they'll start growing, and they'll just keep growing until they can't grow anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to take this. If you have a mandolin slicer and can do this with that, that's great. I just didn't want to get mine out. But the idea is just to slice it super thin, almost like little tiny strings. Okay, so that's a perfect slice right there. And you can do the little strings like that. Take it and cut it in little smaller lengths. Take our cilantro, just a little handful of it like that. Again, if you don't like cilantro, leave it out, because I understand what everybody else is raving about may not be something that you can tolerate just because it tastes like soap. So I get that. Don't let people convince you you're crazy, because it really is a thing. When I taste of beets, even though they look so yummy and they're so good for you, they taste like dirt to me. Now, my husband loves beets, and he describes the flavor, and I'm just looking at him like, I think we're talking about two different things, because these definitely taste like dirt. But he didn't understand what I was talking about. But it's kind of the same way if you don't like cilantro because it tastes like soap. That's really a thing. You're not crazy. I mean, you might be crazy, but that's not going to prove you're crazy right there. You gotta be crazy over something else other than that. Okay, so here's our mixture in there. Just kind of toss this around with our hands. Until it gets all mixed up. That really doesn't use a lot of cabbage at all. So even if you have a teeny tiny head of cabbage, it's probably plenty. Because again, this is just going to be the base for our mix. All right, next thing we want to do is get our microplane zester and our lime. This lime has been in the fridge, and it's not as fresh as what you'd normally want it to be, but it's still going to, excuse me, it's going to zest just fine. I'm only going to use about half of this lime because that'll be enough juice to cover this cabbage mixture. Cut our lime in half and use the juice from that. I don't know if you can see that juice coming out or not. There's not just a lot of juice in there, but if I get a spoon and kind of dig it out, that would probably help. And if you're wondering if you have a cut on your hand, wonder no more when you cut up a lime and start squeezing it. You will know where every single cut on your hand is. If you can't see what I'm doing, I'm just taking this spoon and just kind of pressing the flesh inside there to make that juice come out. Okay, Lacey's decided to do some talking while I have the microphone going, so enjoy that entertainment in the background. Okay, we'll use our spoon and just toss this around. Now, it's not going to be drippy wet. It's just going to be slightly moist. All right, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to get some cheese out, and we're going to grate some cheese to put on that. And then we'll be putting our chicken stuff together in a minute. We'll let you take a look at that. I'm pretty sure you don't want to sit there and watch me shred cheese, but I just want to show you what kind I'm shredding. This is just a package of Monterey Jack I had in the fridge, and a package of pepper jack that I had wrapped up too. So I'll combine these two, and that's what we're going to put on top of our mix. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're going to assemble our, I'm calling this a new name. Actually, it's called SCD Tacos on my piece of paper. I scribbled this down on a few years ago. But we're going to call this Versatile Shredded Mexican Chicken. That'll be the new name for it. Now, if I say this to my husband, he won't have a clue what I'm talking about. So I'll have to go back to him and say, you know, SCD Tacos. And we call it tacos, but there's no taco shell, there's no chips, there's no anything with it. It's just this. Now, you can fix it however you want to, but this is just the way we're going to assemble it this time with the cabbage mixture on the bottom. So, all right, let's get this put together. So we're going to take our cabbage mixture, just put it on the plate, like so. And then we'll take our chicken. And this is the part you're going to have leftovers from, so you'll want to make rice and serve it on that, or just get taco stuff, make your own taco shells or burrito shells or flour tortillas and fix it with that. So you'll have plenty of this left over. 2 chicken breasts really go a long way in this dish. Okay, so we're going to take the meat, put it on top of that. This is really fragrant. My husband walked in from work a while ago and said, I don't know what we're having, but it smells good. And it does. It does really smell good. Okay, put the lid back on that. And then we're going to top it with our cheese. This is just that Monterey Jack and the pepper jack combined. Put it right on top of that. It'll get kind of melty. And that's it. That's all there is. Give you a close-up of that. Get a good look at it. Get out of my way, chicken. And this is what it looks like. So this is what we're having for dinner. And I'll take a picture of it, make a good thumbnail for it. But hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was something helpful. This is great when you're gone from home today. I left here early this morning after I put that chicken in the crock pot. I went and unloaded a trailer somewhere, and I was tired. I came back, and it smelled really, really good when I walked in the house. But I grabbed some lunch real quick, brushed my teeth, let the dogs out, let them back in, put them in the crate. I went to another town to go to Kroger. I came home, I put my groceries up, and I started in making this part of it. So it's been a long day, but the crock pot really did all the work. I didn't do a whole lot. So anyway, hope you enjoy that, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Thanks for joining us.